Minnie Pearl became one of the most recognizable figures in country music history, not because of chart-topping songs alone, but because of her unmatched presence, business sense, and longevity in the entertainment world. Born Sarah Ophelia Colley in 1912, she created the character Minnie Pearl, a humorous countrywoman famous for her straw hat with a dangling price tag and her cheerful greeting, "Howdy." Over time, this character grew into a national sensation, appearing regularly on the legendary stage of the Grand Ole Opry. While audiences laugh at her jokes and warm personality, behind the scenes Minnie Pearl was building something much bigger, a financial empire that would eventually make her one of the wealthiest individuals in country music. Unlike many performers of her era, Minnie Pearl understood that fame alone was not enough. She carefully negotiated contracts, protected her image, and ensured she was compensated fairly for appearances. At a time when female performers often had limited control over their earnings, she insisted on professional treatment and business transparency. Her appearances on radio, television, and live tours brought in steady income, but she also expanded into endorsements, recordings, and merchandising. This diversified approach allowed her to generate wealth from multiple sources simultaneously, something few entertainers in country music were doing at the time. Her long-standing relationship with the Grand Ole Opry played a major role in her financial success. Minnie Pearl became a regular fixture on the Opry for decades, drawing audiences who came specifically to see her perform. This consistent exposure increased her popularity nationwide. As television became more prominent, she transitioned successfully to TV appearances, including variety shows and comedy programs. Each new platform expanded her reach, and with that reach came greater financial opportunities. She carefully managed her brand, ensuring that the Minnie Pearl character remained recognizable and marketable. Another key factor in her wealth was her business partnership in the restaurant chain Minnie Pearl's Chicken. In the late 1960s, the brand launched with the promise of bringing Southern-style fried chicken across the United States. The venture expanded rapidly, opening numerous locations in a short time. Although the chain eventually faced operational issues, Minnie Pearl's involvement provided significant earnings during its peak growth period. Her willingness to invest in business ventures outside traditional entertainment showed her strategic mindset and entrepreneurial spirit. Beyond entertainment and business investments, Minnie Pearl also made smart decisions in real estate. She invested in property, particularly in and around Nashville, where land values steadily increased over time. These investments contributed to her overall wealth and provided long-term financial stability. Unlike many performers who spent lavishly, she was known for living modestly despite her success. Her practical lifestyle allowed her to retain much of her income, further solidifying her financial standing. Her television presence expanded further when she became a regular on Hee Haw. The show reached millions of viewers weekly and became a cultural phenomenon. Minnie Pearl's appearances brought her humor to a broader audience and increased her earning potential. Merchandise, appearances, and licensing deals followed. With every new opportunity, she strengthened her position not only as an entertainer but also as a financially savvy public figure. Despite her wealth, Minnie Pearl remained deeply connected to her audience. She continued performing, greeting fans, and supporting fellow artists. Her humility and warmth enhanced her popularity, ensuring long-term demand for her performances. This sustained relevance over decades is one reason she accumulated significant wealth. Many artists experience short-lived success, but Minnie Pearl's career spanned generations, allowing her earnings to compound over time. By the later years of her life, Minnie Pearl had become more than just a comedian. She was a symbol of country music tradition and business intelligence. Her financial success came from discipline, diversification, and understanding the value of her brand. While audiences remembered her humor, industry insiders recognized her as one of the most financially successful figures in country entertainment. Her story demonstrates that wealth in country music is not only built through songs, but also through smart decisions, longevity, and entrepreneurial thinking. Her legacy continues to influence performers today. She proved that entertainers could control their image, expand into business ventures, and build lasting wealth. Minnie Pearl's journey from a small-town character to one of the richest personalities in country music remains a powerful example of how talent combined with strategy can create both cultural and financial impact. Minnie Pearl built her fortune during a time when most country performers earned modest incomes and relied heavily on touring. She stood apart because she approached entertainment as both art and business. Her character, recognizable by the flowered hat and dangling price tag, became one of the most marketable personas in country music. Audiences across America connected with her humor, and promoters quickly realized a show featuring Minnie Pearl would draw large crowds. This demand translated into consistent income from live appearances, radio broadcasts, and later television performances. Her long tenure at the Grand Ole Opry ensured steady visibility. For decades, she performed regularly, becoming one of the most dependable attractions on the program. This consistency allowed her to negotiate favorable compensation and maintain a steady flow of revenue. While other artists came and went, Minnie Pearl remained, strengthening her brand and increasing her value to the country music industry. The Opry stage served as both a platform for her humor and a foundation for her financial success. Beyond the stage, Minnie Pearl expanded into television, which significantly boosted her wealth. Her regular appearances on Hee Haw introduced her to millions of viewers every week. Television exposure opened doors to sponsorships, licensing deals, and merchandise opportunities. Her recognizable character made it easy to market products, and she became one of the first country entertainers to fully capitalize on brand identity. This move into television allowed her earnings to multiply far beyond what live performances alone could provide. One of her boldest financial moves came with her involvement in Minnie Pearl's Chicken. The restaurant chain expanded rapidly during its early years, aiming to compete with other fried chicken brands. While the venture eventually encountered operational problems, Minnie Pearl benefited from endorsement deals and licensing arrangements during its growth phase. Her willingness to diversify income sources showed a forward-thinking approach uncommon among entertainers of her era. Real estate investments also contributed to her wealth. Minnie Pearl purchased property around Nashville, recognizing the long-term value of land ownership. As the city grew into a major hub for country music, property values increased. These investments provided financial stability and additional income streams. Unlike some celebrities who spent lavishly, she maintained a relatively modest lifestyle, allowing her wealth to accumulate over time. Her financial discipline was matched by her longevity. Minnie Pearl performed for decades, maintaining relevance across multiple generations of fans. This extended career meant that her earnings compounded year after year. She continued appearing at events, on television, and at the Grand Ole Opry, ensuring that her income did not fade with time. Longevity, combined with business strategy, helped her build one of the largest fortunes in country music. Despite her success, Minnie Pearl remained approachable and connected to her audience. Her humor and warmth kept fans loyal, ensuring continued demand for her appearances. This loyalty translated into long-term financial success. She demonstrated that personality and branding could be as valuable as musical talent. By carefully managing her image and opportunities, she built a lasting empire that extended beyond the stage. The story of Minnie Pearl highlights how strategic thinking, diversification, and persistence can lead to extraordinary wealth. While many remember her for laughter, her financial achievements were equally remarkable. She turned a comedic character into a business powerhouse, proving that success in country music could come from smart decisions as much as performance. Minnie Pearl's wealth did not appear overnight. It was built slowly through decades of careful planning and consistent work. Early in her career, she traveled extensively, performing at theaters, fairs, and radio programs. Each appearance expanded her audience and increased her negotiating power. Promoters learned that audiences responded strongly to her humor, and this demand allowed her to command higher fees. While other performers relied mainly on music sales, Minnie Pearl diversified her income from beginning, creating a foundation for long-term financial growth. Her steady role at the Grand Ole Opry ensured she remained visible during the golden age of country radio. Week after week, she appeared before live audiences and radio listeners nationwide. This exposure increased her popularity beyond regional boundaries. With national recognition came sponsorship opportunities, guest appearances, and higher-paying tours. She carefully balanced her schedule, ensuring she remained present at the Opry while also expanding her reach into other markets. This balance helped her build both fame and financial security simultaneously. Television further amplified her success. When she joined Hee Haw, her character reached millions of households across the United States. The show blended comedy and music, perfectly suited to her strengths. Her recurring appearances made her one of the most recognizable personalities in country entertainment. Increased recognition led to more endorsements, paid appearances, and licensing deals. Television exposure significantly boosted her earning potential and cemented her reputation as one of the most valuable figures in the industry. Her involvement in Minnie Pearl's Chicken demonstrated her entrepreneurial instincts. The chain expanded rapidly, opening numerous locations in a short period. Although the business later faced operational challenges, the early growth phase generated substantial revenue. Minnie Pearl benefited from licensing agreements and promotional partnerships. This venture showed that she understood the power of branding and was willing to take calculated risks to grow her wealth. Another factor contributing to her financial success was discipline. Despite her earnings, she avoided excessive spending. She invested in real estate and maintained a modest lifestyle compared to many entertainers. Property ownership around Nashville increased her net worth over time. As the city developed into a country music capital, land values rose, providing additional financial security. These long-term investments complemented her entertainment income and strengthened her financial position. Longevity also played a critical role. Minnie Pearl performed for decades, maintaining relevance across generations. Her continued presence meant steady income rather than short bursts of success. Each year added to her financial stability. She adapted to changing media, moving from radio to television while keeping her signature style intact. This ability to evolve ensured her career remained profitable for a long time. Her reputation within the industry also contributed to her success. Fellow performers respected her professionalism, and producers trusted her reliability. This reputation led to repeated invitations for performances and collaborations. Consistent work meant consistent income. Over time, these earnings accumulated, making her one of the wealthiest personalities associated with country music. The story of Minnie Pearl demonstrates how humor, branding, discipline, and business awareness can combine to create extraordinary wealth. While audiences remembered her laughter and signature greeting, her financial achievements were equally significant. She transformed a simple comedic character into a powerful brand, leaving behind a legacy that continues to influence entertainers and entrepreneurs today. Minnie Pearl continued building her fortune even as the country music industry changed around her. Many performers struggled when musical trends shifted, but Minnie Pearl's appeal was not tied to a single sound or era. Her humor, storytelling, and stage presence allowed her to adapt. As audiences evolved, she remained relevant, appearing in television specials, touring productions, and charity events. Each appearance reinforced a brand and generated additional income. This consistency over decades allowed her wealth to grow steadily rather than fluctuate. Her influence at the Grand Ole Opry also expanded beyond performing. She became one of the most respected figures on the stage, often helping introduce new talent and maintaining traditions. This long-standing presence strengthened her negotiating power and ensured she remained one of the most valuable personalities associated with the Opry. The life of Minnie Pearl stands as one of the most fascinating stories in country music history, not only because of her humor and charm, but because behind the simple hat and cheerful howdy greeting was a woman who quietly built extraordinary wealth. Known to millions through her appearances at the legendary Grand Ole Opry, Minnie Pearl created a character that seemed humble, down-to-earth, and delightfully rural. Audiences believed she represented small-town simplicity, yet in reality she was a sharp businesswoman who understood entertainment, branding, and investment long before many performers thought about financial planning. Her rise from a small Tennessee background to one of the wealthiest figures in country music was not sudden. It was built step by step, performance by performance, decision by decision. Born as Sarah Ophelia Colley, Minnie Pearl developed her comedic persona after observing everyday life in Southern communities. She transformed ordinary stories into unforgettable humor, creating a character who wore a price tag on her hat and delivered exaggerated tales about fictional grinders switch. The charm of the character helped her stand out in an era filled with singers, giving her a unique place in the industry. When she joined the Grand Ole Opry, she became more than a performer. She became a staple of American country culture. Week after week, her presence drew audiences, and her popularity expanded beyond radio into television, tours, and endorsements. What many did not realize was that she carefully negotiated her contracts, protected her earnings, ensuring that success translated into long-term wealth. Unlike many entertainers who focused only on fame, Minnie Pearl understood the value of ownership. She invested in businesses, land, and commercial ventures, quietly building financial security. One of her most notable successes came from her association with the fried chicken restaurant chain Minnie Pearl's Chicken, which expanded rapidly across multiple states. While the chain eventually faced challenges, it demonstrated her willingness to step beyond the stage and into entrepreneurship. She recognized that branding her persona could create opportunities far beyond performance income. This business mindset helped her accumulate wealth that surprised many industry insiders. Her television appearances also contributed significantly to her financial success. Through shows connected to the Grand Ole Opry and later country-themed television programs, Minnie Pearl reached millions of households. She balanced humor with authenticity, making audiences feel connected to her character. This connection translated into demand for live tours, merchandise, and guest appearances. Each opportunity strengthened her financial position. Unlike some performers who struggled with money management, she maintained discipline and avoided extravagant spending, allowing her earnings to grow steadily over decades. Beyond wealth, Minnie Pearl remained dedicated to philanthropy and community involvement. She supported hospitals, educational programs, and charitable organizations, often without seeking publicity. Her generosity reflected her belief that success should benefit others. Despite her fortune, she continued to perform in the same humble style that made her famous, never abandoning the character audiences loved. This contrast between her simple persona and her impressive financial achievements added to the intrigue surrounding her life in the end. The story of Minnie Pearl reveals how intelligence, discipline, and vision can transform a comedic character into a lasting legacy. She was not just a beloved entertainer. She was a strategic thinker who built one of the most impressive fortunes in country music. Her life reminds us that behind laughter can exist remarkable determination, and behind simplicity can stand extraordinary success. Minnie Pearl's journey proves that true wealth is not only measured in money, but in influence, resilience, and the enduring impact she left on country music history. The remarkable story of Minnie Pearl becomes even more compelling when we look at how she quietly built wealth while maintaining an image of humble simplicity. Audiences saw a cheerful country woman with a straw hat and a price tag, but behind that character stood a highly intelligent performer who understood business. Her long-standing association with the Grand Ole Opry gave her a stable platform, allowing her to expand her reach across radio, stage, and television. Over time, she turned her popularity into financial success, negotiating appearances, touring extensively, and building a brand that extended far beyond comedy. What set Minnie Pearl apart from many entertainers of her era was a financial discipline. While others spent freely during peak fame, she invested wisely. She understood the value of real estate, business partnerships, and brand ownership. Her involvement with Minnie Pearl's Chicken